Initially, I was going to be very brief, but I got carried away. And you will notice I am reading this because I wrote it uh, better than sit in front of the camera. It's going well, like which I would do naturally. Unfortunately, I may still do it. This is merely an explanation about myself and a little story leading to my becoming an atheist. Firstly, for all you ignorant, numbskull theists who try to boost their own ego and revel in the justification that I'm not speaking sense because I'm drunk or stoned, I'm neither. Nor am I on any medication, or need any. I would say I'm as normal as you, but that would be shooting myself in the foot. I run a successful business, own a house, a car, have investments, am married to a beautiful, extremely intelligent woman who is 2 years my senior, but looks 10 years younger. I was in a car accident when I was 16 that changed my life, for better or for worse. Now I am 95% of capacity. I have a speech impediment and a few maladies of little consequence. For 18 months I was in various hospitals, was in a coma for the first 2 months, and throughout my entire rehabilitation, my biggest obstacle was the general public, including and mostly Christians. Again, trying to boost their own ego. Not all were bad. Some were good, very good friends, understanding, supportive, because they took the time to ask, instead of assuming. This, however, was not the reason for my deconversion. If anything, it strengthened my resolve. The following years, my parents made the mistake of having pity on me and leaving me alone, not forcing their Christian dogma on me, which was their mistake and my profit. For many years, I was left to explore. My father passed away, but I still felt a bit of a choke collar around my neck until my mother passed on. Don't get me wrong, I love my parents, and they were very good at raising 5 children. But I felt a sense of relief and freedom when she passed on. My wings spread further. After 9/11, theism again was in the limelight, with a battle between good and evil, Islam and Christianity. But who was right? Who was wrong? Both sides were equally at fault. I researched and heard the alternative. At that time, I was already 45 years old, but not until then did I start to receive an education. I felt the fool. Foolish for accepting, and more aptly, relying on faith, not fact. Then would resume life in a logical manner until this megalomaniacal, spooky hobgoblin figure came into the picture. My logic, like most theists, went out the window and I started babbling nonsense. Not only did I start wondering about my belief system, but I took a serious look at how I acted as a Christian, along with my friends and their Sunday church-going Christians. How hypocritical we all were. Moreover, how evil the born-again, holier-than-thou, sinless cretins were. How quick they were to banish people to hell for thinking wrong thoughts. Just can't win. So why beat a dead horse? I recall commenting when I was born again at 13 years old. How it all made sense now. My mind would not go past what my parishioners allowed. That was then, this is now. Imagine, if you will, an ungodly happening. Space aliens come to our world and befriend us. They observe a church, and many people entering. Upon further observation of the service, they hear of people basing their life on a severely edited, poorly written, compiled book written by those with poor education 2,000 years ago and before the onset of modern technology, and seeking guidance from it, rolling on the floor, speaking in said tongues, and worshipping some invisible being these aliens would consider dangerous and evil. The next scene shows the aliens staggering back to their craft, laughing their nanoogans off, and hightailing it home. Now, I'm an atheist, a bit of a hardliner, an anti-theist. I don't hate Christians, but intolerant of ignorance. I despise stupidity, which includes basing your life on a fantasy, on faith that there is an afterlife. And don't you think if there was an afterlife, and it was so great, someone would have come back and told us? Faith that there is an invisible hobgoblin protecting and guiding you, and this invisible megalomaniacal spook will send you to a place of torture, fire, burning, where you will scream in pain and anguish forever and ever if you piss him off. But he loves you. This is the height of stupidity. And the Holy Bible, which is a mistranslation, it is the Heliobiblia, the book of the sun, which is nothing more than astrology coded in demonic mind control, mass control, warning of immorality. Or Jesus, the latest in 17 or more God-men sent by this invisible sky daddy who did not fulfill his obligations or prerequisites as a Messiah according to the Old Testament, and like all who preceded him, were said to have died on instrument of torture, come back to life, and ascended to heaven. At worst, plagiary. In reality, a poor copy, a very poor copy. He nor any before him were a Messiah. But you are ordered to believe all this. That is fascism, dictatorial, and autocracy. Autocracy. Grow up, get an education. I'm also a member of the Atheist Haven in Singapore and have attended meetups frequently when I lived there. Now I'm back in Canada and involved myself in the Yahoo bulletin board often, whether it is appreciated or not. I may not have the scholastic achievements and credibility as others there, but that's okay. An atheist doesn't have to be a whiz kid. I would invite everyone to browse the Atheist Haven bulletin board and insert or interject your opinions. Could be very interesting. But don't be surprised if the only answer you hear is get an education.